Hi everyone, Mark Merrill with Firm. Our special edition of the Fact Files is about the Maine Republicans forcing the DOJ to act. Finally, like it says here, folks, the jig is up, Janet. The Maine Republican Party is fresh off a robust and successful candidates' clash in the Queen City debate on March 24th, and it's now been over several years that the deflectocrats and the Mills administration have just undermined, misused, stolen, and bullied innocent taxpayers and working class employees and employers' dollars into just short of bankruptcy. What else? Where do we start and where does it end? While they keep flaunting those stolen monies to close Mainecare, Department of Health and Human Services, and other departments and types of fraudulent actions, helping Somalian illegals and new Americans via Janet Mills' actions settle in our state with no sign of any daycare or healthcare operations, children, adults. You can ask the Maine Wire and Steve Robinson and John Featherston on that. They got proof. We don't talk to you. Go away. And of course, that means no accountability. Instead, the only news sources here, meaning Maine, not News Center 6, not WGME CBS 13, not Total Coverage, WMTW 8, not WVII Channel 7, or even not WABI TV 5 in Bangor, or any of the ragtag papers, Portland Press Herald, Maine Sunday Telegram, Sun Journal, Sentinel, or KJ, nor the Bangor Deadly News, as we call it, seem to be the only ones that are reliable to get the facts straight is the Maine Wire, as aforementioned, the Maine Policy Institute, and yours truly here at Firm. Fairness in the reporting media. We'll give a damn about the Constitution, free speech, freedom of the press, and the First Amendment at all. So now that the U.S. Federal Government Accounting Office and the Pam Bondi DOJ have acted on tips and info from Maine Wire and Maine Policy Institute, guess what? That's right. The proverbial brown stuff has hit the fan. The axe is about to fall, Janet. Cut off the Mills administration's existential tax and spend against its own citizens and federal funding again for her insipid increases on property, land stealing, and robbing the rainy day fund like a beer-guzzling ship of drunken pirates. Had enough? Law-abiding Maine citizens? Well, here's a new recap report from Maine Republicans on fraud here. As you see before you here, a picture of House Representative Quentin Chapman of Auburn, the weekly Republican address. About to get that started for you here, folks, on Firm, where we're talking about Maine Republicans finally get some backing to force action from the DOJ on the Mills administration about all this corruption for a change.
Supposed to protect. Let's be clear about what just happened. A single provider, Paradise Residential Services, billed taxpayers nearly $16 million. They charge more than twice the national average. They ranked in the top 5% in the entire country for cost per claim. And behind those numbers, allegations of neglect, failure to train staff, billing for services never delivered, even reports of vulnerable individuals going months without basic care. This is not just fraud. As Dr. Oz said, it's a betrayal of vulnerable patients and families. And here's the most troubling part. These warnings weren't hidden. They weren't hard to find. They were ignored. While this was happening, the Mills administration wasn't fixing the problem. They were asking Washington for more time to respond, more time to explain, more time while millions of taxpayer dollars continue to flow out the door. That request was denied because in Washington, the message has changed. Accountability is no longer optional. Instead of addressing the substance, the governor attacked the messenger, calling this a political exercise. This is not a political. This is about whether government works for the people or whether it protects a broken system. And the facts are undeniable. 46 million improper payments identified in just one program. Now another multi-million-dollar provider exposed. A pattern of pay first, verify later. That is not oversight, that is negligence. And Mainers are paying for it twice. Once with their tax dollars, and again, when vulnerable individuals are failed by the very system meant to serve them. So let me be clear, this must end. We need real audits, real enforcement, real consequences for fraud and abuse, because every dollar stolen is a dollar taken from someone who truly needs care. The jig is up. The excuses are over. And the people of Maine deserve a government that protects them, not a system that can be gamed. This has been Representative Quentin Chapman with the weekly Republican Radio Address. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, share, and follow us on Facebook, TikTok, X, and Instagram. Peace.
Thank you to Representative Chapman on that. As we conclude this brief but to the point firm program on the Fact Files Maine Republicans getting the DOJ to act. As we fade back here a little bit here, folks, you can see us all the time around central Maine. Our car is everywhere in the greater Waterville towns, Fairfield, Oakland, Winslow, and outlying towns. Also, Skowhegan, reaching into the Bangor area in leaps and bounds. You can see us right here. We are firm, fairness in reporting media, truth, facts, reality, and common sense. Isn't that what our lawmakers were sworn in to uphold and do as public servants? Last I knew, guess the Democrats don't give a damn anymore. They'd rather feather their pockets with Soros money, Chinese yuan, and sell precious farmland and timberland and coastline land to the Chinese and the Somalians, the corrupt ones. For more information, folks, get in touch with us all the time right there at Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com, fairnessinreportingmedia at gmail.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mark Merrill, as always, your host. Pray for our state. Pray for our changes in 2026 and our country. That this comes to pass as the corruption finally gets tied up and some people go to jail or prison. This isn't political anymore, folks. This is taking away our culture and our livelihood in this state of Maine. Meantime, folks, peace to all.